Yes, welcome to the tactics talk for Everton versus Leicester. Sam, it's been a week since we last did one, and we've actually got a win this time. As you can see on the side, the form is actually us getting a win for once. But you can see as well that Everton have, since with David Moyes, has got 2 wins in a row. So it's going to be a tough ask, definitely at the Goodison Park stadium. Sam, what's your take on this game?
Well, we've said a few times going into this, obviously beating Spurs was a massive result, a massive shock result as well, something that we weren't expecting, but we're more than happy to walk away with all 3 points to a team that are not in the best of forms. Everton, probably on the opposite side of that coin, they are on good form now. Moyes has come in, I think he's been in charge for 2 games and he's won on 2 games, so it's not going to be an easy place to go and get a win there. We all know how David Moyes likes to set up. We know he's a very passive player and he likes to keep his defence very tight and not concede many goals. I guess going into it, my main thought is it's probably a massive 6-pointer for both of us. They're going to want it to start to slip away and we're going to want it to start to catch up to that those teams ahead of us like Wolves, Everton, Palace, and try and slip further away. I think Wolves are below us going into this game, but their best outcome for that game is probably us losing. If that's what they're hoping for. But we need to go in there pretty much going to win, and if we're not going to go to win, we've got to go to draw.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just looking at the fixtures coming up as well. We've got Ipswich and Southampton both playing each other as well tomorrow, which is a massive game for whoever wins that.
Southampton winning on that, we could, with how far down they are.
With how far they're down, you'd probably want a Southampton win, but it won't be as bad if they did draw. You just don't want an Ipswich win.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, the Ipswich will be looking at that as Southampton 6 points. Probably. I mean, Southampton are on record to have one of the worst Premier League seasons of all time. I think Derby had that record with 11 points. Southampton are, slowly creeping up to, breaking that in a bad way. So hopefully they could do us a little bit of a favour and get something out of the game. But the way Ipswich are playing, I think they'll be looking at a draw at the very least.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, moving in this game, we have got a few players hopefully back in. Well, especially one, which is Mads Hermansen, who's below us. Do you see him starting as we get into these teams, if he is fit, or do you think Stolisic deserves his position in there?
For me personally, I think Stolisic keeps his place. So I guess we'll go into the teams now. Stolisic is in my team. Hermansen, as much as he had a great season before, he's been out for probably the best part of 2 months, maybe pushing 3 months now. He's been out injured. So just the way Stolisic played against Spurs, it's hard to drop one of those plays. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's been broke for a while, and a little bit's changed to get the Spurs win. Obviously, I've been going into every game with different styles and formations and tactics, but it worked to some extent against Spurs, who we all knew going into it were not very good. I mean, I obviously didn't watch the match, but I watched the extended highlights. I mean, really, you probably know it better from first hand, but Spurs, they had a good few chances, which they didn't tuck away, and Stolisic made some great saves.
Yeah, see, this is where I will move into my team, and I will say Mads Hermansen will be back in there if he is fit. And I know that it's probably a bad note for Stolisic because he probably deserves his start, but I think he was only really a fill-in. And if you want to stay up this season, and we know how good Mads Hermansen is, I think you can't risk not putting your best keeper in there, even though Stolisic has done well. But for me, Mads Hermansen goes in there. But noting on the Spurs game that I don't think a lot of fans are giving us credit for how well we did do to win the game. Like, don't get me wrong, the first half wasn't amazing, but the chances we had and the way we defended, which people were saying that with the team and the defense we've got, there's no way we can ever win a game with it. I think we did well, and I think there was no bad performances really in that side, other than, again, for me, AU was just one that I just don't think was that impactful, but again, I don't think there was much wrong with the way we played against Spurs. And again, I think we beat them by a tactical battle in a way, because from watching the match today, they said that we dominated midfield because of how we saw Spurs was going to line up. So for me, continue with the same-ish team, but a couple of changes here and there for me anyway.
I guess my biggest concern, obviously, going into the Everton game is at the moment in time, they are going to be a way tougher team to break down and beat. They are structurally sound. They've got a very good team. They've obviously recent years they've not been utilising that as much, and obviously David Moyes has come in to make them at least a middle side team. Get them out of this relegation from which he could very easily do. So I think our biggest issue going into Everton for me would be to match them with how structured we can be, or how structured we need to be. Like I said, if we did well against Spurs in midfield, which we did, Samari had a good game. He needs to take that into the Everton game. We need to be able to break them down because they're not going to give us an inch. That they are really going to be homed in and they're going to counter us, and that's our biggest issue. I think even after the Spurs game, we're still, we're not very good in the defence. I think Everton will look at us and be like they're there for the taking on the counter attack. So, we'll move into the next spots now, really, of who you're going to play in that back four, and you make a start on that one.
Yeah. See, this is where I'm like, do I make the changes or not? Because I think since FaZe has been in, which for me he goes straight in there. I think since he's been back in the side with Rude, I think he's been pretty much faultless in my opinion from what I've seen. And I think that's the sort of player, like we mentioned last week, is you need that bit more aggression. Yes, sometimes it might kill him when it comes to countering us, but I think the aggression he has to try and get a tackle in or whatnot might be a bit more helpful to be a bit more aggressive on the attack. So for me, FaZe is in there, and for me, the second defender is always going to be Vestergaard in this kind of way we're playing. I know people might not like it, but the way we play in the possession-based football with him playing from the back, he is the only man in our defensive line that can make them passes through the midfield. So for me, them two are my back two. Obviously, I know we go for the fullbacks first normally, but for me, I think they're the most definite starters for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about picking those two. Again, I think my biggest issue, and I really hope Rude is going to learn from the Spurs game, from picking up a win, is I think I want him to adapt for the Everton game. For me, because if we go and play possession-based football there, they will just let us do it. But that's not a good thing. They will sit in their own half, even at home. They'll let us pass it around and say they're going to make a mistake at some point, or they're going to not offer anything creatively. So I get why you probably want to play FaZe and Vestergaard. If for the possession-based football, for me, I wouldn't. I'd rather go into this game, and be right. We got to match their energy. We can't slow it down ourselves, otherwise. That's what they'll want. Everton will want us to go there and play slow because they'll be like, we'll set up defensively and we'll break them on the counter-attack, which is what they've done in their past two wins. They've been very good in defence and broken teams down and waited. And, that's exactly what they'll do at home. So I struggle to see why we'd play possession-based against them.
I don't think I will mention that I don't think we played too much more. I don't get me wrong, we still played possession-based football, but against Spurs, since that Fulham game where we lost, and we lost to Palace as well, we did see Rude saying that we need to reset and get back to basics in a way, and I feel like that's what we did. Instead of from the kick from the keeper, we didn't pass it much. We booted it up. Like there was elements in the way that we didn't actually play so possession based as what people think.
Yeah, I guess taking it away from a tactical point of view, I'm going to play who I think deserves to be in the team. FaZe, I'd say, yeah, I put FaZe into my team. Again, I do think he's still very hot-headed and can cause a mistake. And it wouldn't surprise me if he does make a mistake in the game. But I'd say the same about any centre back that we've got at the moment. Obviously, the transfer has been dull as ditch water. Really, we've signed 0 players apart from Koulibaly. I know Owen Palmer-Atkin from BBC Radio Leicester did a tweet saying that they've spoken to Rude and everything's on the table. They're trying to get players in, which is not really a good thing when it's the 31st of January and I think we've got 2 or 3 more days left until cause I think all of us are kind of forgotten really, we can sign players in this period because we haven't, we've just gone completely AWOL and done nothing, which isn't the best. Obviously there's a massive financial situation as to why we can't do it with FFP rules. I imagine we're trying to keep under the limits, but with Chowdhury on loan and Cannon sold, I mean, really, we're going to have a weaker squad if we don't bring anyone in with those two players out. So I'm digressing. I'm going to put. See, I'd like to see Cody in there to have, keep the defense as, structured, but, keep them calm. But I'm not so sure he has been doing that when he does play. I'm going to put Cody in there, obviously.
Okay.
That Liverpoolian link. I don't know if he's a Liverpool fan, but I know he's
He used to
obviously
play
at
at
that end.
Everton, I think. He used to play at
So
Everton.
he did used to play at Everton, didn't he? So I'm hoping he can, give it a little bit of a boost and insight. Whether that's a good or bad idea, I don't know. But the other defenders, I struggle to see really again all season long who earns their spot, and it's been none of them. So Cody goes into my team. Scott saying,
Scott.
yeah. I mean, are you happy with the window?
I think no. I can't see
Because,
anyone being
yeah.
happy with this transfer window. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the main position we had to get sorted, as much as it was a cheap signing, it was sorted. Like, I get that point.
You
but
say that, but Justin's probably been one of the better players since we've signed Koulibaly. So when you
he's
look at
going
it
to
that
have to,
way,
isn't he? He's going to have to. He's going to.
yeah. I mean, if it's to boost him up, then it's £3 million well spent. Because Justin, on his day, is a great player. As far as the wingers and strikers, we could do with potentially bringing in another 1 or 2 players in 3 days. I've only had 31 to do it. Anyway, we'll move on to the right and left backs.
Yes, I will bring a few comments up about the keeper because it is a talking point going into this game. Ivan says no brainer. I think if manager says if Mad's fit, he starts for me. Yeah, I agree. Andy does say the problem isn't the keeper. I get the point of that. Like either one of them, I won't be annoyed that one of them is not. Like, don't get me wrong. I think someone said here that where is it? I think don't put Mads in. After that, just play him with pretty good. And I think someone else said here, he said that we should give Hermanson more time and Stolicic another game in the sticks. I get that.
My biggest thing, obviously, going into it is the injury time that he's been out for. I think we obviously thought it'd be like a 3-week period.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. They said it'd be a few weeks. It's been probably pushing 9 weeks now, 9-10 weeks he's been out.
But is this extra time that was allowed more to make sure he was back fit?
Again, we don't know the ins and outs of that. He could have been, but it depends on how. He's obviously not going to be match sharp because he hasn't played a match in the best part of 3 months now. So he could be a little bit rusty. But like I said, I don't think with how well Stolicic played against Spurs, I think going into it, if it's Hermanson or Stolicic, it's not too much of an issue, subject to them not making a mistake. Because obviously, if one of them made a mistake, you'd be saying to Stolicic, "Oh, why wasn't Hermanson in?" If he made a mistake, or if Hermanson's in, we're saying, "Why are you rushing him back into the team after he's been out for a long period of time?" So,
I think we'd agree though. Whoever is in there, the two, as long as it's not Danny Ward, we should be fine with it. Right, we'll move into the fullbacks then. I'll start with my team. There's no doubt about it for me now. Like, don't get me wrong, JJ's had a good game against Spurs, but Koulibaly has to find his way back, find his way into the team now, and just start playing games because for me, he's gonna have to be the starting guy going into the games now. Again, I'm not trying to say that JJ has been awful the last couple of games. You are right, he has been decent, but we've bought him for a reason. You've got to use him as an impact player now and try and get his technical ability in the game. For me, and then a left back. I know people are saying JJ at left back in the comments, but Christensen in there for me. I think he's played most games this season. He stays in there for me.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think I am going to have to agree with a lot of the comments. So I'm going to put Koulibaly in there at right back. And nothing against Christensen. He plays with a lot of passion, but the passion doesn't match the quality. I think he's fairly decent, but I don't think. I don't think he's got the quality. I don't think he has the capability to push himself to the next level. Not at this stage, anyway, and not in this league. I don't think he's done awful. I don't think he's a game changer. And I think if you can get Justin firing on a lot of cylinders, then he can be a massive game changer, like we saw against Arsenal. He's bagging 2 goals when he's playing with that confidence. So I'm going to put Justin into my left back role for this game. Obviously, it's going to be a massive swing and a roundabout. Because in hindsight, the way we beat Spurs, we're probably going to go there and do the exact same thing. Probably going to see Justin on the right and Christensen on the left. But it would be nice to start to see Koulibaly come into the team, because like you said, Reedy, we've signed him, and I think the thing with Spurs is, we can take it as a massive confidence boost going into the Everton game, but we can't take it as, okay, we're going to go and win every game now. We still have to be tactically better than the other team. We still have to make the right decisions, and we still need to outplay the team in the right areas, and not just try and play our game, because that doesn't always work. And I think we need to take it into the game and see what happens, really. So that's why I want to get the best out of the players I think are the best for the team at the moment.
Yeah, one comment here says from Scott, surprised everyone wants to drop Christensen and replace for JJ. He thinks JJ needs to rest. Like, don't get me wrong, he has played just as many games as what Christensen has as well. I get that. I think the quality is more as a left back in Christensen as a out and out left back than JJ is going into a left back role when, like, most of the season he has played mostly right back. So I wouldn't want to change it up and make it, because he could make an error being in a different role. I don't know. I think you've got to stick with the positions that a lot of players have played in this season, as much as JJ can fill that left back role. But we will move into the midfield, Sam. Start with you then, mate, because you've had your doubts or opinions on the likes of Soumare and even Winks as well. But who would you take into that midfield?
I think Soumare's pretty much going to guarantee getting to that team for most people.
Are you doing that? Or...
Yes, Soumare's in my team. He's earned his place at the moment. He had a good game against Spurs.
I think he knows he has a good game when he puts a reel out about how many tackles and stuff.
Yeah, but again, he's got to take that confidence into Everton, because one a good game against Spurs, if it capitulates against Everton, when it's it's definitely a more important game for us, Everton, in the table fixture. Obviously, winning that game against Spurs was massive for confidence, but going into Everton, like we've said, it's a 6-pointer, so you need the same level from him against Everton, and I'll be more than happy with that. I think you agree, and I think
I'm just going to put him
Common Boy from Bangladesh is coming to saying Soumare and Hoog. He's obviously saying don't play Winks, but I guess I'll throw it back to you, Common Boy from Bangladesh. Who do you play then in midfield alongside Soumare? Because I struggle to see who else fits into that system, the way we're playing with Ndidi being out still, because I know Ndidi's had a few things.
He's getting back though. He is getting back.
Yeah, and he's getting back to fitness, but that doesn't mean he's ready for the Everton game. So we still got to go with what we think. So for me, it is Winks again. I think Skip is not performing to the level that he was at the start of the season. So for me, at this moment in time, it has to be Winks. Obviously, I prefer it to be Ndidi, but we're strapped for that choice at the moment. So Winks is probably your next best option.
You'd rather play an injured Ndidi. So I think we both agree when Ndidi's fully fit, he comes straight back into this team.
Of course, yeah. I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless Winks is going to pull out 11 out of 10 for the next 2 or 3 weeks, but.
Well, at least he showed his passion and fight in the game against his old club, which for me shows a lot to say that instead of respecting them, he actually showed them that he wants to be in that game and win the game.
Probably loves us more because we're paying him double what he was at Spurs.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I'm going to agree. I think there's no other option right now. See, I did choose Chowdhury last week in that role, but now he's gone. There's no other option.
Pick him again this week if you want, but I don't think he'll start.
No, he won't. Go on then. We'll move into the attack, because this is probably the biggest talking point going into this game after last week. We'll mention it because we all spoke about it. What was your take on this the starting players against Spurs? Because yes, it got us a win in the end.
Yeah,
but I'm guessing a lot of people, even you, were thinking, is this the right choice?
I went into it and said at least he's changed something, with Mavididi going out, and you probably look at it and say, oh, not these players, not that. But I did say, and I had said in previous games, I actually think Bobby Reid has been way more impactful than Mavididi has in his games. And again, he proved me right against Spurs. He obviously got the 2 good assists to get the goals. And he did it a couple of weeks prior, but then he loses his place again. So I'm going to play a little bit of a different formation up front. So obviously I'm going to put Bobby Reid on my left wing because I think he had a great game, and I think he's earned his spot over Mavididi. If we're going to keep trying to persist on this playing with a winger, then for me, Bobby Reid gets in over Mavididi, because he's been. I mean, the stat was, I think Bobby Reed's got more assists than Mavididi already in the
mad.
Spurs game. So I think it shows you how poor Mavididi's been. Not to slate the guy, not like we've done that all season anyway, but he's really not stepped up, going into the second half of the season. So Bobby Reed gets into my team, and I guess to play it in my system, I'm going to put Buenanate on the right wing / right central attacking mid. So you can push him along a little bit more because he's going to be both a winger and an attacking mid. Just depends on the system we want to play, and it depends on how I want Koulibaly to be that player that runs up the winger. So Justin for me stays as a left back. So Declan Reed's the wing back, the winger. But for me, Koulibaly is a wing back, and he makes the decision on can he push up or can he not. That all depends on how we're attacking, how Buenanotte is getting up there, because I think that definitely opens up the space a lot more to either go through the middle or go on the wing. And, just some in-game tactics at that point, you choose what's best in that moment. So that's what I would do. And I think it also allows Buenanotte to make his own decision on, okay, I've got the space to go through the middle of the pitch and I've got a man on my right winger that's going to come and help me, or I can be that winger and try and swing it into the box himself. I think that frees him up to be creative, which I think has been really restricted under Ruud in his creativity, and I think that shows because he's been dropped a lot for some reason, which a lot of fans would probably say is a downfall of Ruud.
I don't think it helps as well that now we've got another player in here who's more creative as well. That Buonanotte was playing in that 10 role before we got him. And now he's been moved out wide because we've got someone else there. I think that's maybe where he's cancelled out a lot of his creativity.
Yeah,
well. But I know against the Bournemouth game, he came in from the right and scored.
I think that's an issue with. I think that's an issue with El Khanous more than it is with Buenanotte, because I think El Khanous has also played on the wing this season and he's not done very well when he's on the wing. So obviously El Khanous has, he's played fairly well as an attacking mid, but I think that shows that we're trying to fit both of them into the system, and Buenanotte is the better player overall, which he is. I think that's a bit obvious, that Buenanotte is the better player overall.
I disagree.
I disagree. Yeah, but stats don't lie. I mean, I'm not saying El Khanous is a bad player. I just think Buenanotte is a reason why he's worth 40-odd million and why Brighton signed him up for another 5-year contract. For me, you shake your head. He's done more than El Khanous has all season. So I'm not trying to say anything bad about El Khanous because I think he's played well. I just think
all I'd say is if Vardy scored the chances that El Khanous is given, he could have a lot more assists. But
he could do, and that's a Vardy issue. But all round. Anyway, I think both of them are okay.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing the who's good, who's bad, but
they're both good.
I just think he offers you a bit more creatively, attackingly, and I think El Khanous goes into the middle of my team. Like I said, he's played well. He's had a good, he's had some good moments. He's also had some bad moments. Great goal against Spurs. Hopefully, that gives him confidence into the next game. But he scored previously. I can't remember who it was against when he said he was wearing Jamie Vardy socks for Lucky Magic, and then he went on a 6, 7, 8 game streak of doing absolutely nothing. So hopefully, you can take some of that confidence going into the Everton game and not fall off form again.
Yeah, I agree. So this is where going into my team. I really do not want to pick Bobby Reed, but with the assists he's got, and I will state the fact, in my opinion, when I was at the game against Spurs, I don't think he had the best of games, but stats don't lie. He got 2 assists.
He did what he needed to do.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think everything else he did on the pitch, like Ayew does, I don't think he really impacts the game at all. But then the moment he does get the chance, but the moment he does get the chance to do something, he actually does it, whereas Mavididi doesn't. I don't think anything else in the game for me, he's really that impactful. But again, stats say he should be in there.
I think I disagree because I think me and you have very different versions of impactful. Because if he gets the assist, that for me is a massive impact.
That's what part I'm saying. When he gets the moments where he has to kind of cross it in or get the matters.
He's doing his job. Mavididi has not done his job one game this season. I think the Villa game.
I think it's the 70, 80 minutes. He's not really either used or impactful wise. For me, he doesn't really do too much at all. That's my problem. I think I'd want to see someone who has more thingy, but
we're not going to see that.
No, we're not.
We don't have a player like that. We have, luckily, thank God, we had a player like Bobby Reed who could come in and actually do something in a game. You know, they were crucial assists. I'm not sure if Mavididi had that ball in those situations, he would be looking to
He
cross
wouldn't
it
have
like
scored that
that.
goal. He wouldn't have scored the El Canoes goal, I'll tell you that now.
Who?
Mavididi, I know he's a different role, but I'm saying if Mavididi was in that position to shoot.
He just done a 180 on me. He just ignored me and didn't.
What?
Why?
What about?
Carry on. Go put your players in the team.
No, I'm just saying. I thought you were talking about El Canoes' goal and saying the back.
No. Not listening. Next. Move on, because Reedy's not listening.
Right. I don't want to say Bobby Reed. I'll put a Buonanotte in. I think.
Why don't you want to say Bobby Reed?
I don't know. I just don't like him
Why?
as a player. I don't know.
Oh, you just want us to lose, don't you?
I
Look
don't.
at you. You just want us to lose. Let's not start the play that got 2 assists against Spurs. No, how about we try Mavididi again? That's a good idea. How about Mavididi? I'm thinking Edward up front and Danny Ward as attacking mid. That 6-0.
No,
you got to put Bobby Reed in your team. You've got to put him in there.
I'll put El Canoes in and Buonanotte.
I don't know why you're sighing about it. You got if you don't put it in.
I just didn't enjoy how he. I didn't enjoy how he.
Oh, he got 2 assists. Stop trying to watch tippy-tappy football. Just because he didn't pass it the way he likes. Oh, he didn't pass it. Oh, that means he's a bad player. There you go. Put him in your team. Put him in your team and shut up. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Put him in your team and shut up.
I will do.
Oh my god. Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry. I don't want to play him, but I just didn't like. I just didn't like Bobby Reed's play style. I don't know. He just didn't look like he was anywhere near good enough until he did what he needed to do. And I get that. I get he did the main things he needed to do, but he just didn't look great when he wasn't there. And I'm just going to be. I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different because he won't.
You being different.
I'm being
that
different.
Doesn't sound like you.
David says it's dying to play Mavididi and Daka.
No, this one's better. Mate. This one, yeah, give you a wobble. Really. I'll pull that up. I agree, Terry.
You never know. If he starts and gets another assist, fair play to him. But I think that was a one-off for him.
Well, instead of Mavididi, oh no, let's start Mavididi who does nothing in a game.
You never know, mate. He could score the winner. He scored the equaliser against them last time we played them. There you go. We'll move into the strike force then, Sam. Is there only one man to pick, or are you actually going to give Daka a chance?
I play Vardy again. Daka's, not to scrutinise the guy like I have been. He's rubbish. So there you go. I just scrutinised him again. That's the nicest thing to say about him is he's rubbish.
You know what? I put Daka in last week against Spurs, and I was obviously wrong. But I'm gonna stick with Vardy in there. I think it was more because we were playing quite a few games in close time. So I thought, you know what, put Vardy in and see what he can do because he needs to improve on his finishing because before last week, he obviously wasn't great. He obviously got his goal last week.
We know that strikers are a lot of confidence players, and at least Vardy gets in the right positions. I mean, not as clinical as maybe used to be, but that's probably because he's getting on now, and he's 38 years old. He's still scoring goals. I think he's on like 7 or 8 goals this season so far. So can't complain too much from him. His level, the way he's playing. It's really an issue with Daka and also Edward, who's not been playing that. The 2 young players. I mean, Daka's been here for 4 years now. He's going to run his contract out and not done anything with us when he gets a chance. Whilst Vardy's still here and he's fit, he plays for me. Yeah,
fair enough. I'm going to try and bring a comment up now because I did see it earlier. I don't know if you know anything about it. I never have heard of this. I know who he is, but if I can very quickly find him. If I can't find it, then I'll ask you. This guy from Ajax, Akpom, I did mention him maybe 2 years ago when I was saying we should have gone for him. What's your news on this? Because I don't know how concrete this is to say that we're actually linked with him or whatnot. What's your take on it?
From what I've heard, we're not the only club interested. I think there's a few others in and around Europe that want him. I've seen quite a few things that, the deal's off because they're wanting money, quite a decent amount of money for him, and we can't afford it.
There you go.
But, no, I don't know if he will come in. I think we've probably got to offer we probably can't offer enough for him for what he probably wants, because I think he's on a decent contract at Ajax, isn't it? I believe so. Yeah, there you go. Scott saying could be going to Sunderland, which it does show you.
He was at Middlesbrough, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was at one of the Championship clubs, and he was literally scoring goals for fun. But then he obviously moved to Ajax because obviously he's Netherlands and whatnot. But I was calling for him before he moved, because I think he's a quality striker who knows what to do in the box. Yes,
I guess you put it in this aspect though. Or why sell Tom Cannon, who we've already got, to go sign someone else who was doing it in the Championship anyway?
Yeah,
I'm not saying Tom Cannon was doing amazingly, but we've sold him for 10 odd million. But well, why not? He may have had a good season there, but he's done nothing at Ajax. And I'm not being funny. The Dutch league compared to the Premier League, it's a massive step up, isn't it? If you sign players from the Dutch league,
they have got Wout Weghorst up front, so he's probably not going to get anywhere near that team with him in the line.
But even Wout Weghorst isn't that good, because when he came, when he played in the Premier League, he did nothing. So for me, I would have liked to see someone different. If we do sign him, fair enough. At least we're doing something. But I think it does show you we're struggling to even sign players. It wouldn't really spark me with much hope that he's going to do any better than the other strikers we've got at the moment. Maybe he can. Maybe I'm being negative on it. But he's better than no one, really. I'll tell you that much for free. Better than no one.
Yep. There you go, guys. There's our teams. There is Sam's team. We're with JJ left back and Bobby Reed in the team. And mine's Christiansen and Mavididi. Probably shouldn't put Mavididi in there, but it is what it is.
You're good at it. Stick with it.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. If he starts, I'll be cheering for him. Until he gets
post online, we'll do it on our social medias, and then you can see all the comments of what is Reedy doing.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely.
Before we go, I'll ask you for a score prediction, and actually, do you think we will sign anyone before Feb 3rd?
I think we will get one or two players in. Hopefully, whether they're loans or signings, who knows? We obviously loaned out. I think I do. I have to sit next to him 5 days a week, so it's 5 too many, Scott. I tell you that much. Hopefully, we can bring in some players. Obviously, I assume we've let Chowdhury go to bring a loan player in, because I don't know how it works. I assume loaning a homegrown English talent probably allows us to loan in someone from England potentially. I don't know if that's how it works, or if it just frees up a spot. And then selling Cannon for 10 million, I would like to think that also frees up a spot to sign someone. But we will see going into it, and we'll find out, won't we, really, in 3 days?
Yes, we will. Score prediction before you finish then, mate.
Well, I go into these fairly pessimistic.
Oh God, he's gone now. He's gone, guys. I think he's either turned his computer off, or he's he's unplugged his webcam. But there you go, guys. I appreciate you coming in. I'll bring it to that screen so you can see. Appreciate you coming on. There are teams. Score prediction as Sam does re-enter. Hello, mate.
I put the camera like an idiot. I kicked it out.
Brilliant. Go on, mate. What's your score prediction again? I've done you in, apparently.
That was really kicked me off. I'm just being polite. He didn't want me on anymore. I'm hoping we win. We really need to go in there to win. I'm going to say 3-1. We're going to be, hopefully, we play a little bit better than we did against Spurs. Keep that confidence going. Get the goals we need. And hopefully it won't be a draw. But I'll take a draw over losing, because if we do go there and lose, that's really going to start to push us back again. And we're in a spot now, we're on the same games with the teams around us, and we're ahead of them. We're ahead of the bottom three. So we really need to stay ahead of them, because, like you said, teams like Ipswich are going to be able to find themselves clawing away if they win and we lose. And, it really is going to get tougher for us, and also easier at the same time, because we've got to play the easier teams, but that's going to put us probably in a tougher situation than going somewhere like Spurs, where you're not really expecting to get much of a result there on a good week. Even when they're in bad form, they've still got a very good team. But, like Scott says there, we'll back the lads, got to have a massive confidence boost, and hopefully Ruud's been training them hard this week and giving them the boost they need to get something out of this game. And yeah, I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1 to Leicester. Okay. I think it will be difficult. I think it's going to be harder than Spurs in a way because, like I say, on paper they had so many injuries. They weren't playing well. The form was awful. But with David Moyes in now, it's going to be a lot harder the way they're playing. So I will say a 2-1 win. Mavadi's going to get both just to be annoying. It's not going to happen, but it is what it is. And yeah, I think you can't win against Spurs and not go and get a result this weekend now, in my opinion. Obviously, I know it can happen, but
Yeah, I
like,
agree with you on that. It's a one step forward, two steps back kind of
yeah,
scenario where
because
if you can
if
go
you
away
lose
to
to these,
Spurs.
they push the gap again, and it's like
The thing is, it probably is a tougher game at the moment. When you look at it, Spurs' form to Everton's form, obviously, new manager bounce back, fit players. It is definitely going to be a tougher game than Spurs.
you'd
I
much
think we'll
rather have
probably get
lost to
into that, but
Spurs. Would much rather have lost to Spurs and beaten Everton. That's what I'm saying.
but we're in a situation now where we can go and get 2 wins on our own. So
No, I
we've
get that.
beaten Spurs. Let's not go and get a loss at least. Let's go and draw at very least for me.
Yes.
If
No,
we
I
walk
get
away
that. I'm
from
just
it,
saying that it means it'd be a you'd probably want to beat Everton if you lost to them than beating Spurs because
we
obviously the
needed to
gap.
win at some point because we needed to
Yes.
claw away. So the Spurs game was vital because if we didn't beat them and we do beat Everton, but we're back in the same situation of, well,
Yes.
if Ipswich won, we're probably still in that bottom three. So it's now back in our hands. I said a lot
Yeah.
this season that we could be relying very heavily on teams this season to, I think you will too, Scott. We've relied very heavily on teams this year to lose pretty much for us, so we can, and they have done. They've helped us climb out. We've now beating Spurs and the other teams around us losing. We've managed to put ourselves in a position where we can be back in the driving seat and we can go to games. And if we win all of our games, obviously easier said than done, but we're the ones that can control where we are this season now. And Everton's the first step to getting closer to them and clawing away from that bottom three.
Yeah, I agree. Appreciate you coming on, Sam, and we'll catch you all on Sunday for the aftermath show with Jamie, and then make sure to check out Phil on his show. Let me just very quickly bring a graphic up so we've got that to show before we do finish. Sam, any more upcoming shows for you to see as well? Any watch-alongs do you know this week?
No, I don't think there's any watch-alongs as far as I know this year, but there's obviously all the shows that we do regular. These shows are guaranteed what we happen. Anything extra is a bonus for you guys, or not. I don't know. It depends on how much you like seeing our faces. But obviously, Jamie's show Sunday at 9:30. Phil's show Monday at 7:30. Fox's Focus Thursday at 7:30, and then our Tactics Talk show Friday at 1:00. Albeit a little bit later today because Reedy's lazy and he was asleep still. The match review, so after matches with Tom as well. So as Scott said it very well here, I'll pull it up. Make sure you smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, show your support. Thank you very much, Scott. We appreciate that a lot. And if you can, give us a like, comment, and share on every post that you see. It's much appreciated for us, and it helps us grow as the channel.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, guys, and we'll catch you all on the next show. See you in a bit.